Now what we're going to do, let's do the bishop. I'm going to turn off the king. I'm going to bring the queen back again. Let's have a look. Press 1. And I think I'm going to just use the queen now. So Shift D and then X to move in X. Okay, so X-ray. Before I do that, let me just have a look at one thing. I'm going to turn off the real queen and rename it bishop. Okay, so I'm going to resize the queen slightly. There. Then X-ray on, tab key, select the faces, and I'm going to delete here. Right, okay, so that is done. Now I'm just going to turn off this bit, the subdivision, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Just be careful, make sure you're not overlapping anything. And there. Right, I can maybe bring down. Actually, I'm going to select the edges, Alt, and I'm just going to slide edges here and scale a little bit there. Bring it down a little bit. And then put it back on. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, now, the same as any other. We do the same process again. Extrude, Z, and scale. Extrude, extrude again, scale, extrude Z, keep doing. Okay, so I'm going to add a loop cut here. Scale down. Let's turn the subdivision. Yeah, I think it looks good. Right, okay. Let's go to the next bit. Yeah. Okay, I will add more details later as I normally do. So let's go and think about this. What we need 2 spheres. We need a sphere here and then deform a sphere and then another little sphere on the top. So first things first, I'm going to bring my, I'm going to select this edge loop and I'm going to bring my 3D cursor here. So Shift S, cursor to selected. And then there you go. Go to object mode. Let's add a sphere. Make sure your sphere has 24 segments. Okay. So I just need to plug in my computer. Okay, so I have added a sphere as 24 and I'm going to scale it down. and then G to move up here. Okay. Then I'm going to duplicate the same one. Press move up and press Z. So you're moving up in Z, and then scale again as well. And G. And I'm going to scale in Z only. And let's see. Now I want to scale in Y and X, but not in Z, because I've already scaled in Z. So I just go here and press that little square there. If I press the blue square, that means I scale on both axes but Z. Okay. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. So we have here this sphere. I'm going to turn off the bishop for now. I'm just going to hide it. Now I need to bring, I'm just going to hide this one as well. So I need to bring this up here. Okay. So that's when I'm going to use the proportional editing. So tab key, select tab key, and now go to my vertex selection. So I select that point over there, and I'm going to click here my proportional editing, and you can choose, I think I'm going to go with the smooth. Let's see. And then G to move. And then here, I'm going to scroll my mouse up or down, as we did that before, and to decide how much I want to influence. I don't know if we did that before. I can't remember now. Okay, so I'm just going to move here. And you see, everything that's inside that circle, the gray circle, is gets influenced by this this translation, this deformation, whatever it is. Okay, so if I scroll down, actually scroll up and make it the circle smaller, that's this is what I am affecting with that thing. And then if I do that, this is how much I affect. So I think I'm okay with that. I'll keep it here, right? Okay, fine. And the other thing I'm going to do now with the face selection, I'm going to open a hole here, select all this, and then Control plus to increase the selection, delete. And at the top as well, I'll select those guys here and then delete them too. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, brilliant. Let's bring the other sphere back. Select those as well, and I'm going to open a little hole in there. Edit mode, and let's just hide this. Select those and Control plus, and then delete. Oh, sorry, I just delete more than I wanted, Nick. Control plus, delete. Right, okay. What I'm going to do now, I've renamed this bishop head original, and I'm going to make a copy, Control duplicate, and then ESC, so it goes back to exact same place. And I'm just going to put here bishop head copy. Okay, this is very clear. Now we're going to create, I've already created a cube, but you can create a cube. Let's just do it. Add mesh cube, and then scale down. Something like that. Okay, so if I look at my the X-ray, press G, and then I need to rotate. Oops. Rotate in Y. Okay. And now I need to resize. So resize in all directions. But now I want to resize only on this direction. So you should have this as a global, right? So if that's global, now I can't resize in that direction. I need to use the local axis, okay? Because this is your global axis according to your 3D world. So this is the local one. Now I can resize only in X. And maybe I'm going to rotate a little bit more here. Okay. And then move up, move down a little bit. Okay, it doesn't need to be exactly as it is, but in the reference. So I'm going to go to my side view, and I also want to resize here in Y. So this has to cut across, so it needs to be big enough. Okay, so now I'm going to show you. So I call that. Let me just delete the other cube that I had here as I was preparing the lesson. Okay. Anyway, so now we're going to go down here to this one, which says Object Properties, and you go down to the Viewport Display, and where it says Display as Texture, when the cube selected it, we're going to put this as a wireframe, just so I'll be able to show you better. And also, I'm going to turn off the original head, and I'm going to be working on the copy, okay? So we want to keep the original there because we're going to need it. So we're going to use... now we're going to select the copy of the head, and we're going to go for apply a modifier, add modifier, and then Boolean. So Boolean is basically I can merge objects together, I can intersect, and I can subtract. And in this case, I will subtract, so it's the difference. So what do you want to subtract? What's the object? That will be the cutter, I would say. And then I'll come here and I said, okay, this is going to be the cube one. Okay. Now you can see something already happened there. Turn off this. Okay. And you can see that it created a cut. The cube is still there. Yeah. But it's now cut. But I haven't applied yet the Boolean. So if you haven't applied, the good thing about Boolean, you can actually, it's undestructive. You can change, you can do other things with it, okay, before you apply. So now there are things about Boolean that I don't like, and I tell you exactly why. But we're going to use this technique to start with to create that shape, and then we're going to create some new geometry. You can also resize, and it's still updating in real time. So something like that. Okay. Right. So now that I'm happy with this, yeah, I'm going to just apply. So to apply, I can turn the cube off now. So now it is actually is already cut, so I cannot interact with that anymore. If I move the cube, nothing happens. So I'm going to my edit mode, and I show you what the problem is now. In fact, let's go back to object mode and try to do like shade smooth. And then it looks pretty awful, right? Because it's trying to smooth out those edges here. And what happened to those edges? They have a lot of vertices. Here, first of all, we have an n-gon. These are all n-gons here because they have a lot of vertices that this face has a lot of vertices. So that's why it cannot smooth properly. And all these vertices, they have no edges, and that's a problem. They end up in nothing. So we would need to tie this up and create new geometry and make sure there is no this kind of two vertices together, and have we have to build up and cut and build this structure and tie this up in order to make this quads transform into quads, and actually make sure that it's going to smooth out all right. Yeah. So, which is very time consuming. It can be very difficult as well to get it right, especially if you're a beginner. But, even if you're not, it's a pain. Yeah. So you could have to merge things and cut and use the knife tool and so on, and make sure they're all quads. It's just a nightmare. Right, so we're going to use a different technique, which is very common in when you're doing games and when you're designing objects for games. Okay, so it's called retopology. first things first. So let's just, first of all, I'm going to delete these faces that I don't need. So delete. And also I'm going to delete anything, all these little triangles and all those, those faces around the, the hole that I want. If I put on, I'm going to delete all of this stuff around here. Yeah. So before I do that, I'm going to go to my side view, and I'm just going to work. It's going to be a lot easier to only work with half of my sphere, and then I'll mirror later. So I'm going to select half of it here and then delete. So I delete half of it already. So I only have to rebuild those here, and then I mirror that face. So in order to do that, we're just going to get rid of a lot of, just open up a big gap here. So I'm just going to select those, even select those there, because I need to use some space here to create my new topology. Just delete up to here. Okay, I open up this bit. I'm actually going to delete this one as well, so I have more space, and I'm going to delete this faces. Now I'm going to even this one. So have a good gap there, so you can create some new geometry there. So in order to create our new geometry, we need, this is obviously a round shape. So we could extrude and try to make it round. It's going to be very difficult. Okay. So we're going to use our original one as a reference, or not only reference, but we're going to use it so we can, when we build the new geometry, it will stick to the original one. Yeah. So I turn on my original one that's there. So I'll go back to my object mode. So I'm going to use another modifier, which is called shrink wrap. Just shrink wrap modifier. And then we're going to tell this modifier what it's going to do. It's going to attach all this. It's going to wrap your geometry of the object you're working on onto another geometry. Okay. So now I need to put a few things. Snap mode. Yeah, I want to snap on surface. I want to snap above the surface, because I want it to be kind of outside, so it's easier for me to see. So above that, of which, what's the target? So the target, our original one. So you click that, and it says this is the bishop head original. And I wanted to put a little bit on top. So I'm going to put an offset of 0.02. So it's slightly bigger, so I can visualize better as well. And I'll explain the vertex group later. Okay, leave it there for now. Now, the other thing we need to do, so we have the shrink wrap. So that geometry there, let me just turn off this, is now wrapping around the original one. Okay. So far, not much difference because they were the same shape to start with. Okay. But now we're going to need that to create the new thing, the new geometry. So the other thing we need to do, very important, we need to come here and to snapping, but we need to come and decide what is going to snap. So normally I think by default, you're going to have something like that. So what you need the face project, okay. And then align rotation to target. And I'm going to edit mode. And there's more, so you can see now, you see it's showing, it's kind of slightly above. So if I put 0.01, yeah, it's closer together. 0.01 is fine. Okay, so now the other thing I need to do, turn on here, auto merge vertices. And then you need to adjust the auto merge, the threshold, which is the distance between the vertices before they can merge, right? So it might be different for you than different for me. I think the default is 0.001. So it depends on how big your scene is and where your object is. That might be too close. So you need to be really too close in order to merge. So you can reduce that. For me, I put 0.01, then I'll see if what is goes well, otherwise I have to adjust. So let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so, and the other thing I want to do is still here in edit mode. You come up here and you turn on, sorry, is this one? Yeah, retopology. Okay, so turn on that retopology, but so it becomes, it changes the color a little bit, so it's easier to visualize. So now I think we are ready to start. And the way we're going to do, we're just going to kind of start extruding things, and you will stick to our original one. Okay. So, and the way we're going to do it, so there are two ways you can do it. You can use normal, I'm just showing you. So you can select the edge and then press E to extrude. You see now you are actually, yeah, sticking to the other mesh. That's one way. You can use that, or you can use what I like is the poly build tool. So it's this tool here. Okay. And the way this one works, let's just go to number one. So when you move your mouse, you highlight the edges, or if you put on top of it, on top of the vertices, and you highlight the vertex. Okay. So to highlight the edge, you need to move a little bit away from it. Yeah. So if you go on top, you end up selecting, highlighting the vertex. So just keep away. And the way it works is like this. You go to the edge, click and hold, and then move, and then you create a new face. Okay. And the other thing you can do is you go on the top of the vertex. For example, in this case, I can press Control, click and hold, and then like that. Okay. So let's do this. All we want to do, we create some geometry around, let's create some geometry first around here, the hole, and then we're going to start connecting with the other bits. What I want to do, I actually want to delete some more here because I want to have some more space here to work with, and then I can connect and create new ones. So I'm going to delete this one as well, and that one. So plenty of space here now. And I'm going to start using that one. I'm going to come to my poly build tool, and I'm going to select this one here. Just put it there. Okay. So that's going to be my first one. And I want to kind of think about how many segments I have here. So is think about, I'm going to create quads. How many do I need and what kind of size? So kind of, I'm trying to align here to the lines. So it's going to facilitate the connection with the rest of the mesh. So I know this is quite a long one. I don't know, this is what I'm gonna use, but so far let's just put it there. Okay. And follow the flow. So it's called edge flow. Yeah. So we want this to kind of flow just like this is flowing, right? So you don't have zigzags and things like that. So when I want one here, and in this one here, I'm going to do this and make the curve here. Okay. And now this one there. I'm going to stop here for now, and then I'm going to think about how I'm going to connect. So this is good. So you have a look. You see, we have a kind of, the shape is there now. So now we need to create geometry to connect those, and I'm going to try to keep quads all the time. So what I'm going to do with this one, for example, let's just connect those two. So I'm going to come here and connect. So now I need to come closer, and I can go on the top of the vertex and just move. And then because of the distance here, 0.01 is working for me, is already merged. So make sure you actually merge. It's actually change color, and you can just move around to see if they are merged, because sometimes it looks like they are merged, but then they are not. Okay. So this one, for example, you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can do this. I can go to the top of this one, control, and stick to that one. And it didn't, you see? So I'm just going to go and adjust, and now it is merged. So I think I merged this one to that one. And I'm trying to avoid too many large ones, so I'm just did this one here. See, yes. So in control, and I have the feeling this one is not really, it wasn't. You see, this one I need to make sure it is connected. Let's come on this side now. Make sure it's merged. It is, and I turn this one that way. I'm not going to connect that yet. What we're going to do, we're going to extrude this bit. Control and connect those two here. There. And then control and then connect to that one. And then here we have 4. So we can just press control and connect those. Okay. So that's good. So they're all quads here. Okay, fine. See, it's not connected, so always make sure it actually merges. Right, okay, so now on this side, so we'll see what we're going to do. Okay, right, okay, so that's good. And yeah, it seems okay on the side as well. So brilliant. Now that we have this, press Tab key, and we're going to go back to our object mode. And I'm going to add a mirror modifier now. So for the mirror, let me just turn off the original for a second. For the mirror, make sure that your cursor is right there in the middle, yeah? Because otherwise your mirror is not going to work. So you can do that by, select the edges and Alt select the other edges on the other side, Shift select, and then, and then you can press Shift S cursor to select it. So it's there now. Okay. Now I'm going to add my modifier. So you can turn off this for a second with topology so you can see your mesh now. It's looking good. Okay, so I'm going to add, go back to my object mode, and I add my modifier, mirror modifier. So I don't want in X, right? Because the moment it's doing X, I want in Y. Turn off the X. Okay, so now it is. And make sure you turn clipping on so you don't overlap. You're not running the risk of going to the other side. It will clip together in the middle. Okay, right, so it's looking good. Let's have a look. Turn off this. Brilliant. Okay, make sure you put the mirror on the top of your shrink modifier. Okay. Now, what we need to do now is create some geometry in the middle here. Okay, so we're going to do that by using extrude. But we have a problem now. We have a problem that we are using still the shrink modifier, shrink wrap modifier, and it is shrinking to this original mesh. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to turn off our shrink wrap modifier. Also turn off here your snapping. And I'm going to come here, I'm going to select those. Okay, select those edges, and you need to come here. So it's extrude, but I want to extrude. You need to click and hold, extrude along normals. Okay, so let's see, and then it comes with that, and then you do this, bring it down. Okay, and this is nice. It created a nice geometry there. Then do it again. So you create another one there. Okay, I think that is enough for me. Okay. Okay, so this is my first one with my first one over there. And I press F, okay, to fill. And so on. That one and that one, fill. I hope I have the same amount. Let's have a look. It's quite small, and I don't think I have the same number. So let's go on this side here. And just going to start from here. Going to do this one and that one. And I go to face bridge edge loops. Instead of fill, I'm just doing bridge edge loops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one with that one. I have an extra one here. Bridge edge loops, but mesh bridge edge loops, and this one it created a triangle. But to be honest, this is nobody's going to see this, so I'm just going to select the 3 and press F to fill. It's not going to be an issue really, because we have to do something here before we turn on the shrink wrap, because if we turn on shrink wrap, all this geometry we're going to try to wrap around our original one. So we have to create a vertex group and tell the shrink wrap that we don't want to shrink the vertex group. Okay, so I'm going to select this, all these ones. So control to the end here, control. Okay, keep going around. Okay, so I select all this new geometry, and I'm going to come down here, data here, the green little triangle, and then add a vertex group and double click and call this group Bishop Geometry. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And then assign. So you're telling Blender that this is a group. Yeah. And now we're going to go back to object mode. And before we turn on the shrink wrap, we're going to say which vertex group you want to exclude from the shrink wrap. And then I said that one. So now we can bring back on. And I think that is done. So did that work? It didn't seem to work. Let's just go here. So I'm going to apply the mirror modifier, and then, okay. then this geometry here. Go to edit mode. I've already selected, so you just select that. And then here into this one, vertex group data, vertex group, create one, and I'm going to call it, double click, bishop cut. Okay. And then I'm going to assign. Yeah. Also, it's good, just in case, go give a select all for a moment and just go to mesh and merge by distance. And I put the distance 0.01. So if I have any double vertices or things overlapping each other that I can't see, they'll all be merged together. Yeah. Okay. So now I have this. So I assign. So you know that, but you can select. If you select, it's going to be there, and you can deselect. So you know this is now assigned. So now I'm going to go back to my edit mode. Sorry, my object mode. Go back to my modifier. Now I turn on my shrink wrap, and I can't see. So okay, so what's going on? So you see, I turn on again, and it's trying to shrink around my original head because I didn't put the vertex group here. So I have to tell now my modifier, who would you like to exclude from this wrapping around thing? So my bishop cut. So now if I turn off this, yeah, it's there. Okay, now I'm okay to apply. Okay, so you apply. Now it's applied. Okay. Now what we need to do now is just to add now some more bevel around those, kind of just add some more geometry here and beveling things. So I'm going to add some loop cuts. I'm going to add a loop cut in this middle here inside, and I'm going to add one there. Okay, so if we go to our, and maybe I'm going to add one here inside there. So let's see how's this looking when we actually smooth shade. So you see it's a lot better. It's still got some bits and bobs, but when you apply the subdivision surface, it will look good. Have a look if you want to add some more subdivisions here. I'm going to add another loop cut there. And maybe object mode. And I will bring my other sphere on there. So I'm just going to shade smooth that one as well. Let's go. And I'm going to connect those now. So it's one more bit here. So I'm going to actually two more. So with my face selection, Alt, and then Shift Alt those two and delete. Okay. And now I'm going to move this slightly up a little bit. Just move a little bit so I can connect those, right? Okay, so select that and select our bishop and then join. Okay, now again, we're going to select the edges here. That one is already selected. Shift Alt, select this one. And then bridge edge loops. Okay, that is looking very good. And now I'm going to go to my shade smooth, and I seem to have a normal problem here. Let's find out, shall we? Because this is not right. So something is going on here, and I believe it's something to do with the normals. Let's come here and put face orientation. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I thought. So all the normals in our head they are flipped. So X-ray on, select all your faces. I think it's those ones that are okay. And then go to normals, mesh, normals, flip. Oh, I have one more extra bit there. So I'm just going to Alt, select those ones, come to mesh and normals, flip. So now that problem should have been solved. Yes, it's all blue now. Good. And now I'm just going to add some more details here. So edit mode. I think I'm okay with that now. Let's have a look. Done. So, okay, so I'm happy with my bishop. Yeah, so you have a bishop now that is moving your right. It's got a nice cut and is all you needed. Yeah, so